How much did he do? Hello.
Yes, sir.
What was the
Yes, sir.
you tell me the last topic that we did? Hello. Can you tell me the last topic that we did?
Sir, I was absent. Sir, Planck's quantum theory of electromagnetic radiation.
Okay. So how many are there now? Two are there.
Yes, sir.
I think I didn't save that one. But okay, you have the recorded version is there with you, no?
Yes, sir.
Then so no problem. That part that day, I think Sunday one I forgot to save. That's why it's not here. Anyways, no problem. So we'll start with we did the Planck's quantum theory. Yes, yes, I wrote the theory. That's it. Then today continue. I told that I will be explaining. So what does this Planck quantum theory say? This said that energy is basically radiated in the form of small packets. So it's in a discontinuous form and not a continuous nature. And these small packets were known as the quanta. And the energy of this radiation is directly proportional to the frequency. So it depends upon the frequency, the energy. And so E is equal to h nu. That was the formula that we got. That was the formula which we got. That E is equal to h nu. Under Planck's quantum theory, which we did in the last class, we got the E is equal to h nu. This was the formula that we got. So then let us try to understand the Planck's quantum theory with the help of, let us try to explain the photoelectric effect using the Planck's quantum theory. Explanation of photoelectric effect using Planck's theory. So what was the theory? In photoelectric effect, we saw that till a certain frequency, there was no emission of photoelectrons. That means till the threshold frequency, there was no emission of any photoelectrons. Once the threshold frequency was crossed, then we saw that the photoelectron was being emitted. So that means this can be said in this way: the total energy, total energy of incident radiation that is equal to, so first you need to give the threshold frequency. What is the function of this threshold frequency? It is to break the molecule free. So that means binding energy. So this is equal to the binding energy. Is to overcome the force of attraction of between the nucleus and the plus the kinetic energy of rejected electron. This also was true. If any excess energy was given, then that excess amount of energy is converted into kinetic energy. Kinetic energy of ejected electron. So what you get is This is total energy, matlab h nu. So this is equal to h nu naught plus half mv square. Right? Therefore, make subject a half mv square as a subject of. So half mv square is equal to h common nu minus of nu naught. This is the formula that we get. So over here you see that if you get if the value of nu, so if nu is greater than nu naught, so if this nu is greater than the value of nu naught, then what will happen? Excess energy converted into kinetic energy. But if you see that nu is less than nu naught, if this nu is less than nu naught, then what? No ejection of electron because threshold frequency is only not reached. So no ejection of electron. And what if they are equal? Nu is equal to nu naught. What if they're numerically equal? If they're numerically equal, that means this part becomes 0. Half mv square is equal to 0. So that means electron is just emitted. No kinetic energy. So then just the electron is emitted and nothing else. But there is no kinetic energy for the electron. Okay. So then now we will start with for today's topic. That is the এই যে আমরা বলছি যে এনার্জি কন্টিনিউয়াসলি এমিট হয় না, এনার্জি ইজ নট এমিটেড আউট কন্টিনিউয়াসলি। So here, how to prove it? So we are saying that energy is not emitted out continuously, rather energy is emitted in a discontinuous fashion. So then the question is, okay, if this is true, then give me some experimental observation. So this is only the atomic spectrum. So using here, we are going to see the proof that yes, energy is basically emitted out in a discontinuous manner. So that's it. The topic will be evidence for the quantized electronic level. Evidence for quantized electronic level. Here we are saying that energy is emitted out continuously. Under this topic, we are going to see this kind of proof of this experiment. Yes, energy is emitted discontinuously. This topic is called atomic spin. Now tell me, what is a monochromatic light? What is a monochromatic light? What do you mean by a monochromatic light? Do you know? Yes or no? What do you mean by a monochromatic light? Do you remember? Hello, are you there?
No, sir.
So what is a monochromatic light? Do you remember?
No, sir.
So if a light has only one wavelength, if a particular light has only one wavelength, then such light is called a monochromatic light. So radiation or light basically radiation consisting of only one wavelength. That is called monochromatic. And if it has many wavelengths, various wavelengths are there. So radiation consisting of various wavelengths. That is called polychromatic. So this sunlight that we have, that is a polychromatic light because it has many wavelengths present inside it. But if a particular light has only one wavelength, then it is a monochromatic. And many wavelengths, if it is present, then it is called a polychromatic light. Then let's understand what is the meaning of spectrum. So, Acha, what is this dispersion? Have you learned light in physics?
Yes, sir.
So then what is dispersion?
Sir, when a white light passes from prism, then from a transparent medium, then it changes its color. That is known as changes into seven colors. That is known as dispersion of light.
Okay, it is okay, but it's not completely okay. First of all, it doesn't change. There is nothing to change the color. So when a white light is passing through a prism, what happens is the color splits. There is no change, rather it is splitting into its constituent colors. So this splitting of light is known as dispersion. So now when a white light, suppose this is our light, when a white light is passed through a prism, we will see that this color is basically splitting into its constituent color. So not necessarily always seven color, that will depend on the light that I am giving. It is actually splitting into its constituent color. Red, green, violet, indigo, all those things we will get. But it is actually splitting into the constituent color due to this dispersion. So you have green in between, yellow is also there somewhere. So light it is splitting. So this splitting of light due to this refraction on being passed through a prism, that is called dispersion. Okay. And this pattern that we observe, so the pattern of radiation observed, pattern of radiation obtained due to dispersion, obtained due to dispersion is called spectrum. So this pattern that we get, V, I, B, G, Y, O, R, 5 light, white, 7 light, whatever, that pattern that you are getting, that is called a dispersion. And this pattern is called spectrum. So this pattern of radiation obtained as a result of this dispersion, that is called a spectrum. So this is our atomic spectra. This is the spectra. So starting with red, and over here you have violet, gives you. Now the spectra can be of two types. One, it can be continuous. Another one, it can be discontinuous. Discontinuous. Now you to have obviously seen rainbow in the sky. You have seen rainbows in the sky. Yes or no?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay. So there, if you observe a rainbow, how will it look? See, a rainbow is basically a continuous spectrum. So a rainbow is a continuous spectrum. Suppose this is your red light. This is the red light. This is the red light. As soon as the red ends, he will get, suppose, G, the green color. Green will be there. As soon as this light ends, green will come over after red. Then suppose you will get, oh, orange is also here. Suppose orange is there. Then yellow will come. Then suppose blue will come. So this is a continuous spectrum. So if you observe the spectrum, you see there is no such distinct line. There is no distinct line separating each of the color. Just one color after the another. That is only what happens in the rainbow. Just if you see the violet, after that only indigo. There is no strict separation between the two colors. It's not like this. No, it is not like this. Just suppose there is a separation between these two lines. They red, then a bit of gap, then you are getting green. Then another bit of gap, then you are getting orange. Then you are getting yellow. Then you are getting blue. It's not like this. A rainbow doesn't appear like this. Rather, if you see a rainbow, you cannot basically distinguish where one color is ending and another color is starting. Immediately, red, that is immediately followed by yellow or orange. As soon as the red ends, a transition happens to orange color. Then from orange, you are getting a transition to yellow color, like this. So that is called a continuous spectrum. Continuous spectrum. This is your continuous spectrum. Continuous spectrum. But our atomic spectra is not like this continuous. It is rather a discontinuous spectrum. So now let us try to understand what a discontinuous spectra is. But before that, is a continuous spectra thing clear to you?
Yes, sir.
So now let's see what a discontinuous spectra is. For seeing that thing, we will do a simple thing. Suppose this is a box. These are boxes. One box, two box, three box, four, six, seven, eight. Oh, sorry. Let's not write it in this. Let's represent the boxes like this. One box, three, four, five. So let's number them. This is one, four, five, seven, eight, 10. So you imagine a situation, leave everything else. Mane, don't think about chemistry or anything else. So think that 10 boxes are there. So these are your 10 boxes. And the 10 boxes are placed immediately one after the another. See, as soon as box 1 ends, box 2 is there. Immediately you have box 3. So like this way, 10 boxes are arranged. Okay. So you can think this to be a continuous spectrum kind of thing. Continuous spectrum. Because the boxes are immediately placed one after the another. So this was the continuous spectrum. Now think, you are removing few boxes from here. Which boxes you are removing? Totally random. Just your wish. Tell me which box should I remove? Which number box should I remove?
3,
Okay, 3 I remove, and okay, whatever.
7, 7.
3, 7, and let's take 9 also. So from here, we remove these three boxes: box number 3, box number 7, and box number 9, and we place it over here, just below, just below, in the same position we place it, but not in the same line over here. So now look into this. Now what do you observe over here? You saw that initially there were 10 boxes were kept side by side. Initially 10 boxes were kept side by side. So let's write it down. Initially 10 boxes were kept side by side. So this is our continuous spectrum. This is kind of similar to continuous spectrum. But now what we see is, now what do you see in the picture? Now in this picture you see that the spectrum is continuous only: 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, 10. So it is basically continuous spectrum, but in between you have some small gaps. That is at position number 3, 7, and 9. You have a blank space in this position. There is a blank over here at position number 3 because nothing is there. So position number 3 is blank, 7 is blank, 9 is blank. So this is on removing box 379, 379, we get an otherwise continuous arrangement with some blank spaces in between. Right? This is only what you observe over here, that the boxes are there one by one after the another, but in some position. Which position? Position number 3, position number 7, and position number 9. So in this 3 position, we are seeing a blank space. So what does this blank space indicate? So the blank space indicate the position of boxes removed, right? The blank space indicates the position of boxes removed. And this we will see after some time, that this is only your absorption spectrum. So this type of thing is similar to the absorption spectrum. So is the arrangement of box clear to you? That how we are saying it's a continuous arrangement with some blank spaces in between, and the blank spaces is basically representing your boxes which was actually taken out from there. Okay, is it clear till this much?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now look into the second picture. So in the second picture, what you are seeing is the total place is basically empty. See, all this place, nothing is there in this place. It's empty, all this position. Only in some of the places, that is 3, 7, and 9, you can see a box. Other than those 3 positions, rest of the space is completely empty. Only in the position number 3, 7, and 9, you can observe the box. So what does the box at that position indicate? The box at position number 3, 7, and 9 indicates that they were actually removed. That these were the boxes that were removed from the first diagram. They are removed from the absorption spectra diagram. That is why they are present in this diagram. So for this one, You see, so let's draw a line. Now here you see that here in the total place empty, empty, except some boxes, some boxes in position 3, 7, 9. So the boxes in 3, 7, 9 indicates that they were removed from the first diagram. And what does this blank spaces over here mean? The blank spaces here indicate that the boxes in those places did not leave their original position, did not leave their original position. So the other boxes had remained just in their position only. That is why they are not present in the second diagram, because they are in their original position. Only the boxes which are removed from this position, they actually came in the second diagram. The rest of the place is completely empty. So this explanation is synonymous with the emission spectrum. Emission spectrum. Emission spectrum. Okay, so now you tell me whether this story is clear to you or not.
Yes, sir.
Completely clear, to?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now let us try to understand absorption spectrum and emission spectrum. Acha, before that also, see another thing. So this is basically the similar to emission spectrum. Acha, see another thing, that irrespective of how the arrangement looks, it doesn't matter whether it is looking like this or looking like this. So irrespective of how the arrangement looks, the position of this anomaly is remaining same. That in absorption, you get a blank at number 7. In emission, you get a box at number 7. In absorption, you get a blank at number 9. Emission, you are getting a box at number 9. So, irrespective of how this graph looks, or sorry, of how this arrangement looks, the position remains same. That something is happening is number 3 position. Something is happening at number 7 position. Or some garbage is happening in number 9 position. So that means both this, the absorption and emission spectra, numerically, both of them are similar. Okay. So now let us try to understand this two spectra. So we will see with the absorption spectra. Absorption spectra. How many are there? Was it Naresh, sir? Hello, hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, my word was disconnected.
So absorption spectrum. So we will study the spectra of sodium atom over here. So we'll be studying the spectra of sodium atom. So suppose this is your NaCl solution. You have taken a solution of NaCl. Through this NaCl, you are passing light, white light you are passing. That means sunlight. Sunlight you are passing. And then this light you are passing through prism. Let me draw the diagram, then I will explain. Okay. So this is sunlight. मतलब continuous spectrum. Sunlight is continuous spectrum. Now listen here carefully. So you are giving sunlight. So this light is coming, coming, coming. It is striking this NaCl solution. So what will happen? The NaCl will absorb some of the sunlight. It will absorb some of the energy. Now, since sunlight being a white light, being a continuous spectrum, it is a polychromatic light. It has a range of wavelength. For example, it has all the wavelength in between. Just for example, 4,000 to 8,000 angstrom. So it has all the wavelength in between this. 4001, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4010.5, 0.6, everything is there. So all the wavelength between 4,000 to 8,000 angstrom is present in the sunlight. Okay. So when this sunlight is being passed through NaCl solution, here the sodium chloride is absorbing some of the wavelength. Some of the wavelength is being absorbed by sodium chloride. Not all the wavelength, but some of the wavelength from this, from 4,000 to 8,000 के बीच में कुछ wavelength absorbed हो जाएगा. Not everything. And this will be our transmitted light. This is the transmitted light. That is a light that is being emitted out after absorption. So if this transmitted light is then passed through a prism, you will see that at wavelength 5896 angstrom, and at lambda 2, 5891. That is at these two wavelength, that is 5890 and 5896. At these two wavelength, you are going to see a blank space. So there is going to be a blank space in between the wavelength of 5890 and 5896. So at these two wavelength, you are going to see a blank space. The rest of the position from 4,000 to 8,000, rest everything is going to remain as it is. So this is the absorption spectrum. So what does the blank space indicate? The blank space indicate that those two wavelengths, that is 5890 and 5896 angstrom, was absorbed by the sodium chloride. So now think of our box example. What we saw, that you see over here in absorption spectra, everything is going to remain as it is. A continuous arrangement is there, except a few blank spaces in between. And what does the blank space indicate? The blank space indicates that those particular boxes were removed. So here also, the spectrum is going to remain continuous as it was before also, except there will be few blank spaces. Where will we get the blank spaces? It will be at 5890 and 5896 angstrom. At these two positions, we are going to see a blank line, a dark line. So what does the dark line indicate? The dark line indicates that this particular wavelength has been absorbed by sodium chloride. Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir.
What about the other one? How many are doing the class? One or two now?
Two, sir.
Other?
Maybe some network problem.
What is his name?
Abhay.
Abhay. Abhay, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. So is it clear?
Yes, sir.
So that's it. So absorption spectrum mane, here we are going to see a continuous spectrum with some dark sharp lines in between. So what does this dark line indicate? Dark line indicates that those particular wavelength has been absorbed by our atom. So now see, we are going to see it. So this is a discontinuous nature. In between, we have some gaps. So this is a proof that yes, Planck's quantum theory is true, that we are going to see a discontinuous spectrum. Okay. Tomorrow we are going to start with Bohr's theory. So the absorption spectra is observed when a white light is passed through a substance and the transmitted light and the transmitted light is is analyzed by spectrograph. By spectrograph. And how is it going to look? It will look like that. It has dark sharp lines in an otherwise continuous spectrum. The dark lines correspond to the wavelength that has been absorbed by the substance. So the dark line correspond to the wavelength that has been absorbed by the substance. So then that's it. So this is our absorption spectrum. Now let us see the emission spectrum. Emission spectrum. So emission spectrum is just going to be the opposite of absorption spectrum. So let's see. Emission spectrum. Emission spectrum. So let's draw the diagram of emission spectrum. Okay. Now see, so this is the diagram of emission spectrum. Now try to understand that if a person gets angry, okay, suppose a person gets angry, so he cannot remain angry all the time. A person cannot remain angry all the time. Neither can a person remain sad all the time. So that means if a person gets excited, which in this case is angry or sad, whatever, he will gradually again come back to the normal form. So that means if anything goes back to the excited state, if it becomes excited, then gradually it will come back again to the normal form. So suppose if a person becomes angry, what he will do is he will suppose he will shout, he will fight, he will vent out his anger, and then gradually he will become normal. Or if a person becomes sad, he will cry, he will sulk, and then finally he will again come back to the normal state. So for anything, if it is becoming excited, what it will do is somehow or the other, it will give out the extra energy and again come back to the ground state, that is the normal state. So here also, when you are taking a flame of sodium atom, So by a flame of sodium atom is basically means the sodium atom is excited. And when you are passing it through a prism, so when you are passing this excited sodium atom through a prism, you are going to see that you are going to see sharp line at 5890 angstrom and 5896 angstrom. So now the spectra that you are going to see is an opposite one of the previous one. What was the previous one was? There was a continuous spectrum with some dark line in between. But now you are going to see total blank. Everything is dark except in few positions you are going to see a sharp bright line. Why is it sharp bright line? So the bright line basically indicates that particular wavelength has been absorbed. That is why now it is being emitted out. So over here you are going to see a discontinuous spectrum. A discontinuous spectra, a discontinuous spectrum is observed with a series of sharp line sharp lines मतलब ये बोला 5896 and 5890 separated by dark bands. Dark band. So how is it produced? Emission spectra emission spectra. These 2 points that I'm writing, it's important because in your exam you get the difference between absorption and emission spectra. Is produced by analyzing the the radiant energy emitted by an excited atom. Emitted by an excited atom. So you see in the previous one, in absorption spectra, we saw that at 5890 angstrom and 5896 angstrom, we saw that there was a dark band at those positions. Other than that, everywhere there was light. So what do we conclude is that only those two wavelengths was absorbed by sodium chloride. The rest were not absorbed. That is why they remained as it is. Now, when you are seeing the opposite thing, we are going to see that only at 5890 angstrom and 5896 angstrom, only at these two wavelengths, we are going to see light. Rest is becoming empty. Rest is becoming totally dark. Why is it so? Because this is emission. So in this spectrum, the energy that was absorbed in the previous case, that is being given up. So here, so only these two wavelengths was absorbed according to the diagram. So that's why in this one, only these two particular wavelength is being emitted out. Rest, why is it dark? Why is the rest of the position dark? The rest of the position is dark because first of all, they were not absorbed in the first diagram only. So just like this case, that in the absorption, we saw few blank spaces, few dark line at position number 3, 7, and 9. And in the emission one, we are going to see the box only at those positions, 3, 7, and 9. And why is the rest of the space empty? The rest of the space is empty because they were not removed in the first case. In the absorption spectrum, the boxes had remained just in their normal position. That is why in the emission spectrum, we cannot find those boxes. Only the boxes which are removed in the absorption spectrum, only those boxes are found in the emission spectrum. So here also, only those wavelengths that were actually absorbed during the absorption spectrum is observed in the emission spectrum. The rest of the place is empty because they were not absorbed in the first place. So that's why the rest of the place is empty. Empty matlab dark, nothing is. Now this spectra, be it absorption spectra or emission spectrum, so you can see that both of these is discontinuous in nature. It's not a continuous one. It is discontinuous. There is a gap in between. So that's why you can prove that yes, that energy is itself is indeed a discontinuous nature absorbed হয়. Energy is obviously absorbed or emitted in discontinuous nature, just as the Planck's equation has said. And another thing is that whatever be the spectrum, be it the absorption spectrum or the emission spectrum, this is a characteristic property of an element. Okay, they cannot match. Okay, the spectra for sodium is characteristic to sodium only. Spectra of potassium cannot match with the spectra of sodium. Every element has a typical characteristic spectra. It is not same for everyone. It is going to be different for every element. So atomic spectra is a characteristic property of every element. You can write it down. That atomic spectra is a characteristic property, characteristic property of every element. So the spectra for every element is going to be different. And since it is a characteristic property, that means what? Just by studying the nature of the spectra, how the spectra looks, just by studying that, we can actually conclude what type of element is this. So just by studying the nature of the spectrum, the values of the spectra, we can actually identify the element. That is done in research work, but not yet. But yes. So the atomic spectra, the absorption and the emission spectra, it is a characteristic property of every element. So this is one point. And another point is that whether you get a dark band or you get a sharp light, that doesn't matter. But you see that numerically, they will happen at the same wavelength only. I said you that whatever thing is happening, it is happening at number 3 position only. Either you get a blank or a box. It will happen at 7 only or at 9 only. So you see the absorption and emission spectrum, although they look different, but the numerical values of absorption and emission spectra is same. So numerically, the absorption and emission spectra is at same wavelength, although they look completely different from each other. So this is about the absorption and emission spectra. For the examination point of view, you need to prepare the difference between these two spectra, absorption and emission. 2 points are there, and both the point I have written it down in the bulletins. You just need to write it in different form. Okay. So is this spectra clear to both of you? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then that's it. So that's about our absorption spectra and emission spectra. And then tomorrow we are going to start with Bohr's theory. Actually, Bohr incorporated the findings of this experiment in his theory, be it the spectra or the Planck's quantum theory. So using the knowledge of Planck's quantum theory and this spectra, Bohr made his postulates, the Bohr's postulate that we are going to see in the next one. Okay. So do you have any difficulties till this much? You can let me know now. Otherwise, I will end the session here.
No, sir.
Okay.
No,
So
sir.
then I'm stopping the share. So then that's it for today. Bye then.
Bye, sir.
Yes.